Yo, 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 yo. What the fuck is good? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? How are you all living? Tulip King, that is such a good tweet. I'm about to tweet that. Woo, man. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to the fucking stream. Baby, happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Oh, Malcolm, I forgot to turn the AC on. Malcolm, I forgot to turn AC on. Yo, 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 yo. Man, it's so good to be back, man. I had an absolutely incredible weekend. So much happened. I'm trying to do this thing now where, like, every once in a while on a weekend, I take the time off. And wow. I didn't really pay that much attention to markets, but I was long the right position because, we went into the weekend with that SpaceX position, which feels absolutely incredible right now. Had a little towel long. I closed it. Didn't really want to play ball, but so much has happened since we last had a Twitch stream. Okay, first and foremost was Friday night. Anthropic came out and made an announcement that Fable was going to be taken from us. Initially, it was going to be taken from non-US countries, and now, as far as I understand, nobody in the world has access to Fable, the new Anthropic model. And look, Anthropic, Dario came out and said it was going to destroy the world, and they got what they wanted, man. Regulation right up here happened. So we're going to talk about Fable. Social media banned in the UK if you're under 16. Another crazy announcement. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the UFC in the White House. We're going to talk about the Knicks winning the finals. Oh, my God. We're going to talk about All In Podcast, Sovereign AI, markets, SpaceX, a little bit of everything in between. Crypto is ripping. Hyperliquid is ripping. And we have so much to talk about. We have so much to get into. Starting tomorrow, I am going to, I think, move the stream early. I think starting tomorrow. You guys down with that? An hour early, so like 2:30, 2:45 maybe if I'm bullshitting. We're gonna start it early because everybody wants it. Okay, cool. Then we're in agreement. We're in agreement then. We're gonna start it early tomorrow. I'm fucking excited. I think it's time. And it's going to be absolute box office. So if you're watching on YouTube or Twitter and you would like to chat, twitch.tv/threadguy. All right. I had a lot. Oh, fuck, man. My mic's so. Let me see if that will do it. Fuck, it's like really broken. All right, we'll figure it out. All right. Look, here's the deal. I fixed it. All right, new all-time high. War is maybe probably officially over, and I think this is going to be a big solo week. So, okay, last week since I last got off stream, it was crazy. First and foremost, I went on a double date on Friday. And, guys, I'm not going to lie, man. I think I'm just fried. I went on a double date on Friday, and I'm sitting down on this double date, and I'm looking at this girl, and I'm just thinking to myself, I don't know how to talk about anything that doesn't have to do with markets, crypto, AI, Epstein jokes, edgy humor. I know nothing about anything normal, and I don't know how. And I started sitting here after having been on like 15 dates since I moved to New York. And for the first time, maybe in my life, I think for the first time in my life, I went to the bathroom. I looked at myself in the mirror, and I said, for the first time in my life, maybe I'm the problem. For the first time in my life, 24 years old, I've had a lot of bad breakups, a lot of bad relationships. I've never once considered maybe I'm the problem. And I'm sitting there in a New York restaurant, and I looked at myself, and I'm like, man, maybe it is just me. And then I opened my Hyperliquid account, and I said, maybe I'm the problem on the dates, but when it comes to green and red, I am not the fucking problem, baby. I am not. I am absolutely not when it comes to green and red, I'll tell you that much. So I had a date on Friday. Saturday was the Knicks won the fucking title, which was unbelievable. I realized another thing on Saturday, by the way, is I love house parties so much. I absolutely despise the club. And I'm so here for IRL is back. I'm so here for it. For IRL is black. I think the club just sucks, guys. And I've tried really hard to change my mind on this, but I think I've just convinced myself the club sucks, which is very unfortunate because I want the club to be fun. I want the club to be fun, and sometimes I'm down to just sit there and say nothing and do nothing and just listen and just stare at a DJ and not move and just hear my ears crank. But then everybody like thinks I have a problem. Everyone like thinks I have a problem. They're like, "What's wrong? What's your problem?" And I'm like, "My problem is why is people are talking to me? You know, I want to just sit here and stare every once in a while." And the thing about it too is like, Wavy, even if you don't, especially if you don't have a section, I would almost argue if you have a section, it's worse. I think the club is worse if you have a section because you go and nobody wants to be there. Nobody likes each other. Nobody wants to talk. And you're like stuck. You're like, you can't leave your group because you can't like go over the fence because it's like scary out there, you know, with the regular people. And I would actually argue having a section in the club is way worse. Having a section in the club, unless you have a girl you really like or like your girlfriend, it completely sucks. You have no RNG. You have no opportunity to meet normal people. There's no RNG for you to have like a cool interaction. You're stuck with who you're stuck with, and it just like is what it is. So that was Saturday, but bro, I'm just gonna tell you, game unbelievable. And then walking around New York City on Saturday night after the Knicks won the NBA Finals was fucking unbelievable, bro. It was absolutely unbelievable. Shout out to New York. The city is so back. And shout out to fucking SpaceX. We are going to get this equities thing, man. We are going to get this equities thing. We are going to win this game. And we're going to be, I think, guys, we are going to be really good. Okay? We're going to be really good. I have a big position open. I was posting about it on Thursday, Friday. We're going to be really good. And somebody was asking me, I was asking myself, how would you describe your trading style? And you know what I said? I said, my trading style is Lamine Yamal with Billie Jean in the background. This is how we're trading this year, chat. This is how we're finna trade this whole year. This is what we're doing this whole year. This is what we're doing this whole year, bro. Spain World Cup. Lamine MVP. This is what we're doing this. This is what we're doing this whole fucking year. I think we're gonna get really good at this game. I'm excited to get really good at this game. If you're watching, I didn't watch it today. If you're watching on YouTube and Twitter and you like to chat, twitch.tv/threadguy. And on that note, let's start with a little fucking roll call. Tyler Davis, what's good? Wavy, what's good? Buddy Watcher, Rug, Viblik, Kevin, Jackson, Sir Wheatens, Caleb with a gifted earlier. I saw you. ND, what's good? Jesse, what's good? B Rice, Proof of Perps, Smart Doug, Rowan, Greg, Goaded, what's good? Wolf, Blade, Live the Life TV, Poco, what's good? Russ, what's good? Clayboy Cardi, Shizzy Unchained with the gifted. Thank you so much. Joker, what is good? Alex, what is good? Stardink, what is good? Pipe Bomb, what is good? Zaru, what is good? Juan, what is good? Baves, Whitey, Seth, Tom, Taylor, ATX, DMX. What the fuck is good? All right. We have a lot to get into today. We have a lot to cover. And before we get to market close, Moncock Maxi, what's up, brother? Before we get to market close, I got some stuff I definitely want to go over. All right, first and foremost, Saturday, New York. I seriously have never seen anything like it. And part of my thesis, yeah, you missed roll call. What's good, Blue? Part of my thesis on IRL being back is that it's back in America, okay? The World Cup being in the United States of America is a big deal. This is not something I had really considered all of that much. I'm not really a soccer fan, okay? And I'm watching all of these like European tweeters that have come for the World Cup posting. There's this one German account, I'll find it, that's posting like updates on where they're traveling. He's in like Auburn, Alabama, and he's in like Houston. And they're mesmerized. He's like blown away by Houston, Texas. Like blown away. Can't believe how unbelievable Houston, Texas is as a city. And I actually think I've underrated how big of a deal the World Cup is being in America. But to me, it feels like we're entering a couple year glory run on the United States of America. World Cup. And the thing about it as well is our best cities are thriving right now. The best cities are fucking thriving. New York City, I feel like, has entered an absolute god run, and SF is back. SF is really back because SF was down atrocious. When I was moving to LA 2022, San Francisco was an option, and it was like not a thing that you did. It was disgusting. The city was dangerous. People were getting stabbed. You were absolutely not going to SF under any circumstances. Now, SF is the it's the AI capital of the world, let alone the United States. It's the AI capital of the world, SF. SF is so back. LA is down bad a little bit, but LA's been down bad. And I think New York City, look, I know I'm relatively new here. I call them transplants. I know I'm a transplant in New York City, but New York City is on a sun run right now. Knicks winning. I know a lot of people don't like sports. People don't think sports are that important. New York City winning the NBA Finals sets a precedent where your best are performing great. It's like when Bitcoin trades really well, then all the other high betas do incredible. New York is so up, all of a sudden, like Houston, Texas looks lit. New York is so up, all of a sudden people are like, oh yeah, Orlando, that's pretty cool too. Oh yeah, LA, pretty cool too. Like when the best are winning, when your best players are performing, that's when you're on the comeback. And so the IRL thesis is playing out. Dude, I'm telling you, walking through the streets of New York City on Saturday night was electric, bro. Every group of people are screaming at you. People are hanging out of cars. They're like standing out sunroofs. They're hanging out of windows. There's Ferraris and Lamborghinis driving around. You never see Ferraris and Lamborghinis in New York City. People are hanging out the moonroof of Range Rovers. They're crammed in Suburbans. Everyone's honking. People are throwing bottles in the air. And by the way, everybody was talking about burn the city down. There was nothing. There was no violence that I was aware of. I know like Times Square was a little bit gnarly, but no one ever goes to Times Square. You're not supposed to go to Times Square. That's not like a thing that you do. It's not a thing that you do. And so I think there was like a singular bus burned. Okay. But can you imagine if they lost, how many buses would have been burned? I think there was a singular bus burned. Okay. You don't go to Times Square ever. And so I don't know, man. It was electric to see. It was awesome to see. Market closes in 1 minute, but I got a couple topics we got to go over before we do. But I got to check my position because I'm not going to lie. I feel like we covered SpaceX better than almost all media that I saw leading up to this. I'm just going to say it. I think we covered SpaceX better than all media leading up to it. I'm just going to say. I'm going to wear that proudly. I think we do. I'm going to reference some old clips. But before, and that's also why we're going to starting stream earlier, is I would like to have some time with price action before market closes. But before we do it, speaking of IRL's back, yesterday was Trump's 80th birthday. Also, how's my tweet doing? How's my tweet doing? Such a good tweet. Thank you, Tulip King. Such a good tweet. This is a, by the way, this is a guaranteed Ansem retweet. You're gonna see. But anyways, yesterday was Trump's 80th birthday, and they hosted the UFC on the front lawn of the White House. Does anyone here watch UFC? Because I don't. I don't ever watch. I used to watch with my dad a lot when I was a kid. I don't watch it at all anymore. But I went back and I searched UFC on my feed today, and it was pretty crazy how active it was. I heard it was the best event in a long time for the UFC because I don't know. I've been really bored of the UFC. Not that interesting to me. It's a bunch of like men wrestling on the floor. It's not that interesting to me, but I'm down to get excited about it. And I heard that this was the best event that the UFC has ever had. I wish I watched the Gaethje fight. By the way, I saw Justin Gaethje at a club in Miami one time, or a restaurant in Miami one time. I kind of wish I watched it, but the thing that's sick about it is, from everything I read, It was the best UFC event on the biggest possible stage. I mean, look at this. Bro, they got a fucking bald eagle flying over the lawn of the White House with 100,000 people on the president's birthday in front of the White House. Look at this. I mean, this is unbelievable. Congrats on 9 months. I mean, that was genuinely one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And look at, I mean, is it tough? It's so long. Of Independence? Is that what that is? Is that the fucking Declaration of Independence? Is that what he's reading right now? Bro, shit about Taporia's wife.
You don't believe him. When the
Oh my God.
Into the fire, it's so different than everybody else.
Spamming the cross, bro.
I'm gonna lose by not.
Spamming the cross in the White House as an American with the flag on his back after walking in front of every president with lies. The IRL, you thought I was joking. Oh my God. Stop. Wait, give me a longer video.
Oh, say, can you us find?
How did I not? Wow. That is unfucking believable. This is my favorite tweet of the whole thing. I love that we're the new Rome. Peace with Persia in the afternoon and a gladiator fight in the evening. All on the emperor's birthday, on the emperor's house. Another 1,000 years. And so I looked it up. I couldn't figure out if this was a shit post or not. And I said, how long did Rome prosper after declaring peace with Persia? You know what it said? 1,000 fucking years. 1,000 more years. 1,000. Dude. 1,000 more years. And so we could just skip over the fucking Eric Trump. I don't know what happened with Daniel Cormier, the DC thing. I don't know what happened with that. That was bizarre. I'm just going to assume it was fake. But my favorite tweet is Trump really put the UFC on the White House lawn to give up prizes in crypto, and the fighters were shilling meme coins on the octagon after winning. This is what I'll say, is that it feels like right now we are entering one more era of American American glory. It might be short-lived, but it's going to be aggressive, I think. You know, they say it's like the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning are the closest to the end, but it's the most aggressive rip. It's the most bullish. The 8th and the 9th inning are the blow off the tops, and the whole thing is over. It feels like we are entering one more era of greatness, like human excellence, IRL excellence, American excellence. And it might be on the precipice of superintelligence. And this might be it. Like it might be 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. And then in the 9th inning, superintelligence takes over, iRobot, whatever, and it's all out of our hands. But it feels like we are about to get one more era of glory on the sunset of superintelligence taking over the world, and it feels like it's going to happen in America. Sports, IRL events, IRL entertainment, and then AI dominance. Just utter dominance, bro. I don't know. I found myself this weekend thinking about markets and thinking about the time horizon and thinking about what's coming with the war being over or almost being over, and trying to make up a narrative where it would stop the music. What would it take for the music to stop? And as long as Trump is in the office, at least I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna stop for as long as Trump is in office. I think we have an entering a new era of American excellence, which you could argue has been down only since COVID, really. 2019, down only since COVID. And I don't know, man. Maybe it depends on what happens in midterms, but it feels like things are about to get nuts. It feels like things are about to get nuts if they haven't already. It's like we're winning AI, we're winning space, rockets, IRL, the World Cup is in the US. It's like it feels like going for the jugular right now. Middle East war. I don't know. It feels like going for the jugular. And so it honestly was an unbelievable weekend. It was a good weekend to go out of your house. It's almost 4th of July. Like, I don't know, man. Can you imagine? Okay, let me ask a question before I get too ahead of myself. I don't know anything about soccer. All I know is that once a year, I buy FIFA and I play online seasons. I get to Division 1 and I stop playing. I haven't played in a year or two. If you know soccer, football, is there any legitimate miracle scenario in which the U.S. can make an actual run? Pulisic? Is there any scenario in which they could make somewhat of a run? Like any run at any level? Can they make any run at it? Any run. I mean, I just watched Spain draw against a team that has 500,000 I just watched Spain draw a team that has 500,000 population. That first game was unbelievable. I'm watching the fucking World Cup, man. I'm watching the World Cup. All right. Before we get to market close, I have one topic that I would like to cover that I think is very important and going to be relevant of what is probably the theme of the decade, if I'm being genuinely honest with you. I think it's a pretty big deal, and I hadn't really seen it. So this privacy discussion is going to get increasingly important, and the UK just came out and announced they're banning social media access across the country for everyone under 16. And so the UK, the way that I understand it, has been going crazy with this surveillance stuff, and especially laws on social media posting. People are going to jail for tweets, arrests are being made for saying stuff online. Like, it's getting pretty terrifying. But this feels like a drastic step in that direction, right? It feels like a drastic step in that direction. And the thing that's scary about it is I don't know how well you can really enforce this. And what we're going to talk about with the AI models is like, once you put a model out into the world, you can't really stop it from existing. You cannot really stop it. You can't pull the model back. You can't unlaunch Fable, you know? It's already been downloaded. It's already being run locally. You can't like undo these things once you release them into the world. And the internet is one of the toughest things to censor. And this is pretty scary. I wish I had a trade for this. I spent some time trying to figure out that. So you said any publicly traded VPN stocks. It's kind of a terrible business. And I looked and they didn't really move. And then I looked at KYC suppliers, and those stocks also don't look good. And so I don't know if I'm unironically Zcash is probably your long here. But yes, I agree with your take that it's going to get worse for teens. It just makes it worse because you can't stop people from getting on the internet. And it's kind of scary. I mean, I think about this. I'm like, man, the internet saved my life. I made my first dollar on the internet. I got my first job on the internet. I paid for my first apartment with the internet. I bought my first car with the internet. I got a career. I got to leave college. I got to move out of my hometown. I got to move to the city. I met friends. I met my co-founder. I met people that changed and saved my life because of the internet. And trying to censor what is the most essential tool in the world for society to elevate and grow and like do something meaningful is kind of horrifying. And so I want to watch this video really quick And then we're going to get into market close, talk about stocks and crypto very shortly. Also, if you're watching on YouTube and Twitter and you'd like to chat, twitch.tv/threadguy.
All I've ever wanted, every parent wants the best for their kids. And that's what being a parent means. And for me, for my 2 kids, all I've ever wanted, hand on heart, is for them to be safe and for them to be happy. And the rest is up to them. But you know, I think back to when I was growing up, and I have to say, I think we had it easier. These days, kids have to find their feet in a world that changes
You don't get to stop what's happening
so quickly, where technology intrudes into every area of their lives. And we know that harms them. The response from parents in the consultation has been absolutely clear. Thousands of parents say their children are addicted to social media. It can leave them trapped in a cycle of endless scrolling that displaces play, sleep, and time with the family.
You don't get to control this.
It can
I'm
harm
sorry.
their mental health.
I strongly
Frankly,
am against
parents
this.
need our support on this. That is why today, the government has decided to ban social media access for children under 16. It's a big step for our country. Now, it's not an easy thing to do. I'll be honest about that. We haven't rushed into it. We've looked carefully at the evidence. And we'll have to adapt our approach as technology changes. Learn from other countries which are taking similar steps.
So what are you going to do? You're going to throw a 15-year-old kid in jail because he's posting on Twitter and he gets doxxed? What are you going to do when you find out 14-year-old kid has a Substack and is writing about transformers or artificial intelligence? What are you going to do when some 12-year-old kid gets a following on the internet for posting about emerging tech? You're throwing him in jail? What happens when that kid goes in jail? This is real and scary. What are you going to do? Because it's going to happen. You cannot stop the most transformative technology in the world. You cannot stop the internet. It's 2026, brother. I have like 7 different devices I can give. I have an Apple Watch. I have 2 laptops. I have a phone. I have a backup phone. I have an iPad. I have a smart TV. I have like 10 ways to get on the internet. How are you going to stop it? Bro, I have like 10 ways to get on the internet in my house right now.
And it's fair to say that this decision has been resisted, and it will face resistance from some of the most powerful companies in the world. But we will take them on, and we will win.
You will not
because
win.
the need for action could not be any
You
clearer.
will not win.
Social media is making our children unhappy and unsafe. And as a parent, as much as a prime minister, I just can't let that go on anymore. Because our children deserve better. They deserve a happy, safe childhood in a stronger, fairer Britain.
Unfortunately, you do not get to decide this. You don't get to control technology. You really don't. And this is the biggest problem when I hear people talking about, banning AI is you can't ban AI. It doesn't work. You don't get to stop AI. You can't. It's too good. It's too important. The genie's already out of the bottle. You cannot stop it. You cannot stop it. I don't know. It's pretty scary. And yeah, I agree with you, by the way. CBDCs are coming. You want a Zcash or a Near or a VVV something catalyst, they're going to do CBDCs and it's going to be GGs across the board. So yeah, it's pretty scary. It's wild that they have implemented this, and I think we are setting up. I've said this a bunch of times. I just don't have a great trade for it. That I think privacy is the most underpriced asset class of all across all markets. Let me turn my computer off. Sorry. Across all markets for the next decade. The most underpriced, because the right tail of it is so extreme and so infinitely valuable that it's almost impossible to price. Like if they really went mass surveillance of money and mandatory CBDCs rolled out, like if Europe started rolling out, European Union mandatory CBDCs, like there's no amount of money. Zcash is like, there's something like the idea of Zcash. I don't know. There's exploits. I don't know how I feel about it exactly in this stage. But the idea of private money is like I think it's the most priceless thing that exists. There's no price. Like I don't know. There's no price. CBDCs it's priceless. So, anyways, a couple intro stories tomorrow. I think I'm gonna start the stream an hour early, so we'll be able to get those over, and market will still be going. But on that note, I look in the bottom right-hand corner of my screen, and when I look at it, it is giving me a time read that reads 4:22 p.m. EST. And what does that mean when it's 4:22 p.m. EST? Well, it means a couple things. First thing it means is we've been streaming for 41 minutes. That's pretty cool. Didn't really realize we had been streaming for 42 minutes already. The second thing that it means is that the market is officially you already know what I want to know. You already know what I want to know. What are you buying? What are you selling? What do you like? What do you hate? What did you take profit on? What did you take a loss on? What did you set a limit buy? What did you set a limit sell? What would you like to enter? What ticker are you just interested in? I need names. I need names. I need names. Call out your positions. I want to know what you're in. Long copper, SpaceX, long SpaceX, short Rocket Lab, nice pair trade. Micron spot, long Jito. By the way, is River here? You deserve some clout, River, if you are. Apple and SPX long, SpaceX, Ordinals, brother. Hims, Palantir, and Hype long, SpaceX, near, fumbled near, long SpaceX. What did River do? River's been telling us to buy Jito for like 3 weeks. Rocket Lab is up today. Long NASDAQ, always. NASDAQ 100. Researching lumber shortage. What do you got? Long Marvell. I fucking traded that thing so bad. I gave back all my gains. Merlin, the World Cup duck. Circle. Close near long. Looking for other plays right now. What's good, Sep? Long SpaceX. Long Bitcoin hype near Jito. WorldCoin and grass. My God. Houdini swap base. Board and take two and bought heavy into cards dip. Nice. Long TLT. How the fuck you didn't long hype? Because I long SpaceX instead. I longed hype on Friday and I got bored and I sold it for a little bit of a loss. I was right, but too much leverage. Long Nokia options as well. I'm getting better though. Nebius men. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? If the trade made sense, I think I shouted it out on Friday. I'm like, SpaceX is going to do crazy volume. I think the market's going to go up. Probably a good trade. Anyone see that max airdrop on Hyperliquid? I don't know what you're talking about. Lumber General, can you get this guy on stream? Yeah, I'll give it a look. Remind me his handle in like 20 minutes. When we get to commodities. How much leverage do you use? It depends. I mean, it doesn't matter that much. It more so matters like what I sized it at. I just didn't have that much conviction in it. It kind of was just trading it. What else? What else? What else? Okay, you think long XPL might cuck, bro? We're done with coins. We're done with coins. Okay, Tulip King. Let me know then. I'm down. We'll get this guy on. What else? What else? Last call. We're gonna look at the market in a second. Perpetual Cow did a max. Oh, Perpetual Cow has done some weird stuff in the past, though, hasn't he? I longed and shorted Bitcoin. You longed it or you shorted it or you both? You did both? Why'd you do both? I've been buying gold today. Mando. Really? Why? Also, what's good, Mando? I want a Micron entry, but it almost goes up. I can't believe I had an entry at 600 and I sold it so early. Wow. SpaceX right now, 193.6. Oh my God. Is it? Yeah. Is it finally the gold bottom? Does that mean we can also buy copper? Copper. All right. Wow. 194 on SpaceX. It's so gross. I haven't sold $1, but we'll get there in a minute. All right. Let's take a look. First and foremost, the SPX closes green up 1.65%. 7,554.28 monster. Unbelievable, really. Sick day. War is over as of last night. Where could you trade that gap up? Hyperliquid. War's over after last night or after Friday, Saturday, I suppose. And we basically have a C of green across the board today. The SPY 754. Qs are up 3%, chasing a new all-time high. Unbelievable chart. The Dow makes a new all-time high. That's at 51,676. 676. The NASDAQ 100, that's up 1.8%. The Kospi was up 5.2. South Korea ignored my head and shoulders completely. That looks ready to make a new all-time high. Is anyone big South Korea right now? The SOX is up 5.4%. Semis are ripping. Micron and AMD, everything looks amazing. That's a 5.4% new all-time high. The IGV, the worst coin of all time, is up 2.2%. South Korea, best trade of the year. Yeah, that or it's fucking SanDisk. And the IBB, which at some point may break out, biotech, is up 0.88%. All right. Cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency looks pretty good right now, I must admit. Also, one more time, because there's a lot of people on YouTube. If you're on YouTube or Twitter and you want to chat, twitch.tv/threadguy. Bitcoin looks decent. 66.5. I feel we got a crazy wipeout from this shitty PA right here. Was ugly. We got a wipeout off of that. And we made new lows, but barely. And it's had a pretty solid bounce after the fact. Now, I think more than anything, Bitcoin is bouncing on good news of especially the war being over. But it's really good to see some altcoin outperformance once again. Crypto, the last few months has been pretty solid, really. Way better than the few months that predated it. Has anyone added Bitcoin longs, Bitcoin spot, anything BTC related? That Schwager comment about protecting your capital stuck with me all weekend. Yeah, I think it should. I think that it should. DCH and BTC around 62, 63. I actually have no idea what our friends Loracle, Garrett, etc. are in, but Bitcoin decent. Hype is a monster right now. I feel like it just broke above a pretty key level in this, I don't know, like in the 60s, like low 60s range. Crazy volume today. Maybe we got the stock market ETF per that bid to come back in. By the way, the CEO of Per wants to come on the stream. And I think that I want to do it. So we'll maybe have the CEO of Per on the stream relatively soon. But Hype looks ready for new ATH. It really does. I fucked it a little bit. Too much trading, not enough spot buying. I bought it on Friday at 59 on thesis that we're going to go to the weekend. SpaceX is going to do crazy volume and fees. All of this is just going to be a pretty free long on Hyperliquid. And it wasn't trading very good, and I just closed it. I don't know. It was weird. I just closed it. I went out. I actually really did no markets today. SpaceX is 200. Stop. Dude, it's 194. Oh my God. Oh, I have so much to say when we get to SpaceX. Give me a couple minutes. But I don't know. It didn't trade that well, and I was just like, I'm out. And so Hype was a monster. Looks unbelievable. And Zcash as well. So I've been thinking about this a lot. And what I've been saying over the last couple of weeks is like, where I've been trading good recently is some combination of long-term spot that I believe in and only entering trades, like special situation trades on leverage. Because every time I do leverage just because I'm bored, I lose money. It's been happening to me a lot. And so I was thinking about it and I was like, man, I feel like we could take 3-to-1 risk reward trades that have like a 50+% hit rate and only take those trades. And so a really good one that just happened was Anthropic Mythos. This was with Zcash. I didn't even really clock this as a spot. which I'm kind of annoyed about. But Zuko came out and announced that Anthropic audited Zcash with Mythos, and that it passed with flying colors. That I didn't even clock this as a spot. I'm gonna be completely honest. There was a couple people that did, and I think they deserve some clout. One of them is definitely Evans clocked this really well. I didn't even clock it, bro. I'm kind of upset about it, really. But he tweets. He tweeted it right here. He tweeted it. Let's see on the chart. I didn't even clock it, man. So he tweeted at like 474. But seemingly, actually, let's go shorter time frame. Like, what exact tick did he tweet it on? Yeah, I mean, he tweeted 450. Pretty good tweet. There was a special situation trade right there that I just ignored. I completely ignored it. You know, Friday happens, Anthropic gets banned and or regulated, whatever. And it was Friday night. I was out. My immediate thought process was long Zeke, but I have like bad taste in my mouth for Zcash. And then I'm like long Tau, but Tau fucking sucks. And then I'm like, there's no good decentralized AI projects. There should be, but there's not. And so I ended up just doing nothing. I guess in hindsight, Zuko tweet was a really good spot to long. I don't know if anyone took that. I did not even clock it, but these spots I think are appearing so often. It feels like they're appearing so often. So Zcash is up 11% today. It's been trading incredible. ETH, it's funny. ETH is up 10%. It's 1,800. Doesn't look great. I don't know what the catalyst is going to be, but structural bounce and everything else. Near is up 12 and very strong. Also has the privacy tailwinds with the UK and things of that nature. 13%. Monster down near. Per the hyperliquid data is up 8% and trading really well. And then there's Solana, which is $75. It's up 5%. Jito is trading insane. And I really have no interest in buying Solana. But I do. I mean, the shift is happening on the TL, right? And some people like this are bull posting it pretty hard. And I am down to flip like flat on Solana from, oh my God, it looks so terrible. We're going to $40 to, it will be interesting again. I really have no desire to buy it. I'm down to flip flat on Solana. I really am. But, do you know, because if anything interesting were to happen on chain, it's going to happen on Sol. Things like cards are pretty exciting. Jito PA is cool. Maybe they get some perps action. But the problem is, SpaceX is at 195 and up 15%, 20% on the... SpaceX is up 20% on the day. How can you buy Solana? This is my core problem. It's up 20% on the day. How could you buy Solana? That's where I land. But I'm down to get over being bear cucked on it. I really am. I'm down to get over being bear cucked for sure on Sol. So if you're in it, I'm down to stop hating on you. So that is Solana. Stretch 95.2. Let's check in real quick on Stretch. No recent filings. Nothing to really write home about. We have uranium on here. Uranium's up 6%. Bonds are down across the board. VVV is down 5%. This got an initial pop on Friday, but I don't think this is a good proxy for Anthropic Mythos being banned. I actually don't think this solves your problem at all, unfortunately. I think if there was a huge data leak from Anthropic, or it came out that, you know, Anthropic has this terms of service that they are not taking in data from like enterprise customers or whatever. Friedberg was talking about it on the last All In. If that was revealed to be not happening and they were stealing this data, then I think a VVV pops. Or if ChatGPT chat logs get leaked, I'm closing my eyes. I don't care what price it's at, and I'm slamming it. But getting banned, VVV doesn't solve this at all, unfortunately. Zero solve. Does nothing for it. Not a single thing. And so it popped initially, and then it was pretty flat. I didn't click into it because I was like, weird expression. And then last but not least, metals chads. So number one, silver is up 2.8%, $70, and still, I don't know, kind of looks terrible to me. Mando's buying gold, which had a nice day. It's up 2.2%. And then my favorite, that is just a perpetual tease, is copper. Copper. 6.5, it's up 0.24%. And it's coming for our level. What am I going to do when I get there? I have no idea. But it is coming for my level. What is the copper thesis? The copper thesis is that, I mean, it's kind of retarded. The copper thesis is that it's some level of AI bottleneck that all the smartest people in the world are both posting. Or the most influential, the Chamas of the world. All these guys are like coming out copper. All-in's ripping episodes about it. Like, it feels like chart structure looks really good. AI bottleneck tailwinds, robotics tailwinds, and then a lot of influential people talking about it. And so it's kind of just a chart trade for me. And I probably won't take it, but I think it looks good. I'm interested in it. Good enough for me. Yeah, Druck is long. All-in Cabal is long and pushing it really hard. Good enough for me. You know what? That's a better thesis than I have for most. Prefer that over Jensen said to buy it. So we'll see when we get there. Oil is off a cliff. Crude oil comes in at, yeah, this is the one thing about copper actually, is does copper fall into the category of the entire world is incentivized to see it trade lower? I don't know. A little bit of a weird spot. Like, you don't want copper to be too expensive because people need it. I used to work at a copper mine. It went bankrupt shortly after. I actually don't know about that. I'll need to do a little bit more research. There's a reason I haven't really clicked it. Over a year now, Ether, I appreciate you, brother. All right, first and foremost, crude oil down 4.2%, 81.30 a barrel off a cliff. Brent oil the same, down 3.2, $83 flat a barrel. This flood tweet that reads, remember, by longing oil, you're longing an asset that almost every country on earth is incentivized to see trade lower. He tweeted that at $114 a barrel crude oil. Since then, crude is down 29%. This has really got to go down as one of the better tweets of all time. Still bullish on oil. Why? Rye, welcome, first chatter. Test, it worked. It's down 29% since he made this tweet. Unbelievable. And the oil bulls are in a really tough spot here because, I mean, I think that's got to be one of the more frustrating trades I've ever seen in markets. Is if you were an oil bull at the beginning of this, if you were an oil bull at the beginning of this conflict on the thesis that right tail worst outcome possible for the war is underpriced, and you were super right, and you still got destroyed in the market, it's a tough outcome. Jack Schwager actually talks about this, is you could make a good trade and lose money. And so I think if you round tripped oil because you entered at 90, rode it up to 120, 130, rode it all the way back down, I kind of think you made a good trade, but you did not make money. You really did not make money. Threadguy in the grind, yes, sir. I need to hear your Tau long thesis. I am not long, brother, anymore. I close that shit. Minus 5K. All right. Defense. Palantir up 5.2%. Everything else is down red. All right. Let's get into it. Big tech, semis, mags, AI, rockets, space. Damn, why'd you ban it, Malcolm? And everything in between. Right now, the biggest gainer on this list is none other than fucking SpaceX, bro. SpaceX. And so I'm really long. It's actually the only position I have open right now is SpaceX. First chat, racial slur. Yeah, fair. Second chat was cool though. Let me check my position. I'm up 50%. And I'm actually pretty proud of the SpaceX trade because I feel like as a stream, Doodle Research, thank you for the gifted. I feel like as a stream, we've traded SpaceX very well. Very, very, very well. This was a clip of mine from a couple weeks ago. Basically has the same take, which is that we are going... Everybody basically has the same take, which is that we are going to sell everything on SpaceX IPO. Now, the thing about it is the SpaceX IPO is really soon, June 12th. Every person that has a take has said the exact same thing. The smart ones, the retards, the mid-curves, the mid-wits, the left brains, the right brains, the middle brains. Everyone says the same fucking thing. Everybody. They say June 12th will be the pico top of the stock market. Now, I pose you a question. If that were really true, today's date is May 21st. That gives you about 20-ish days, give or take, until the SpaceX IPO. If you really believed the SpaceX IPO was the pico top of the stock market that's been up only for the last 2 months, what would you do on May 21st? What would you be doing right now? Just, I'm curious. What would you do? If you believe in 21 days, it's all over. What would you do right now? The same way that if you knew there was going to be traffic at like 6 p.m., what do you do? It's pretty easy. No, you fucking sell. You don't ape, you sell. You leave early. Obviously, you leave early because SPY's at all-time high, SPX is all-time high, semis are at all-time highs, Mag 7 is all-time highs, so for the dog shit ones, everything's at all-time highs. If you really believed that SpaceX was going to pico top the market and you had 20 days, you're getting out right now. You're selling everything and you're sitting on the sidelines. That to me, as in how the market is trading, is pretty conflating with what everybody's saying. Every smart person I listen to says that SpaceX is going to top take the market. If everybody actually believed that, they would be selling right now. But they're not. They're not. Why aren't they selling? Well, what if it fucking goes up? What if it fucking goes up? What if it goes up? It didn't make sense. It did not make sense because just the game theory of it is like there's infinite reasons to be bearish on the market at this time, especially May 21st, right? Oil was pretty expensive and everything was at ATH. And so if you thought June 12th was top, I mean, bro, every person, SpaceX is the top of the market. The dumbass, everybody is saying the same take. .com ended in IPOs. And it's the market, it's 1.5 trillion. It's the most expensive coin of all time. And you know what I say back? Sorry, I'm Googling something. You know what I say back? Is that, wait, let me ask ChatGPT. What is 4% of 1.5 trillion? What I say back to the market can't absorb 1.5 trillion is that, bro, the market cap is $60 billion. There's 4% float. There's no space. It's 4%. It's $60 billion. That's like a couple candles. AMD's up $60 billion today. It's $60 billion. Maybe it's 85. Cool. $80 billion. It's not the number is, it's not even real. They raised a little bit more. Okay, it's $85 billion. That's like 1 day of PA for NVIDIA. Okay, and so like I'm looking at this game theory because we have edge because we're crypto. And it's like everyone and their mom is saying SpaceX IPO is going to mark the top. But they have the economics completely wrong, I think. And so the reason that I got excited about SpaceX was it's the crypto strategy that we know all too well. It's low float, high FTV on the greatest narrative of all time by the greatest bull poster of all time. And so if they launch this thing, fully diluted and everybody's unlocked on day one, obviously you're not touching it. But we watched in real time. Remember from the casual finance video to HROC to all the way through Good Alexander the day before. If you were watching the stream every day, we went through the whole journey of SpaceX and how the NASDAQ and all these indexes are rolling out the red carpet, how Elon has structured it to push float super low at the beginning and lockups down the line, how they have incentives, the 10 trading days before the first earnings for it to trade above 175, 5 out of those 10 days. Like, it doesn't take any, we didn't have to do any calculation of revenue. We didn't have to do anything. It was like 4% float is going to be live on day one. Every 401k in the world is going to be forced to twop this thing because of their indexes. Retail has no choice but to buy the top. And then last but not least is everybody wanted shares and nobody got them. And so then this thing IPOs, it does fine day one, it goes pretty high, comes back down, goes below my entry, trades pretty well over the weekend. And then, last night I'm sitting here watching it like 170. and some change. I'm thinking to myself, you know, should I sell? Should I sell SpaceX? Why shouldn't I sell? Like, why is it gonna go up? What is the inefficiency in the market that's gonna make SpaceX go up this week? I'm thinking about it. I'm like, oh, the inefficiency that's gonna make SpaceX go up this week is that every person in the world thought it was the top, and so nobody has any. And then Elon, so there was this Elon tweet. He tweeted this yesterday. I'll give you my exact rationale for why I didn't want to sell last night for a small gain. Is that Elon? Oh, I retweeted it. That's why. Elon makes this tweet 24 hours ago. I think SpaceX might be able to reach approximately 1 trillion revenue by 2030. The second I saw this, I'm like, oh, bro, it's the greatest bull poster in the history of markets. It's saying they're going to 50x revenue in 3.5 years. We're back to made up numbers and ridiculous targets, and it's fucking Elon, and you know the Elon premium. And so I saw this tweet, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, what's gonna make SpaceX go up? It's already so expensive. What's gonna make it go? Well, what's gonna make it go up is the fact that there's 4% float. There's no shares available. The greatest bull poster of all time is predicting a unbelievable, unprecedented revenue growth, and the entire world consensusly decided that this is going to be the top of the market, so nobody has any shares. Everybody has to top blast. Everybody has to top blast it, and there's no float. It's an $85 billion coin, bro. There's no float. It's the same market cap as Robinhood, bro. It's basically worth hyperliquid. It's the same market cap as like 2 Solanas. What's the all-time high market cap of Solana? All-time high Solana market cap is higher than SpaceX right now. And so I'm just like, bro, I'm not selling this for nothing. I'm absolutely not selling this. Now, 25% move later on 3x leverage, maybe I'm going to sell some. But to me, it was just like, this was a pretty clear one. Nobody has any. Elon's bull posting, ridiculously bull posting, and everybody has to slam because nobody has any. And so I'm pretty proud of how we traded this one, to be honest. I probably should exit some here. Maybe I'll sell half, but it looks unbelievable. Now the problem with this, Mando's really good at this. I'm not. I don't know what to do on how to sell all-time highs. Like, how do you sell? Like, when do I sell this? I don't know. Maybe like you rip fucking some EMAs on here. I don't even know. What do you do? Even work. I don't even know how to use indicators. Watch 4 hours. Like how do you? What's the trend break on this? I don't even know. And so for now, I'm just gonna sit in it. It's the only position I've open. It's up 50% on my book, and I'm making up for stupid fucking Marvell losses last week. So annoying. I should have had an incredible month. I didn't because I made stupid trades. Stupid trades. But I feel like we traded this one very well. And for that, I am excited. Second, Micron, monster day, up 11% intraday. New all-time high, and up 110% from the Air Mass public entry. Fucking beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Also, options tomorrow in SpaceX. Maybe a decent time to exit is right now. I don't know. I don't really want to stack it. I don't want to stack it, but it might get crazy volatile with options tomorrow in SpaceX. But we'll come back to that. Micron up 11. Marvell. Oh, I traded it so bad. It's 305.63. It's up 11% right now. I couldn't sit through this. I got walked out on this little. I thought we were gonna gap fill, and I was gonna get cooked. But Marvell's a monster. That's up 11%. ARM is up 8. Robo Strategy, Andrew Kang trading well. That's up 8% today. AMD is up 7. It made a new all-time high. And I mean, bro, it added like $80 billion to it added a SpaceX floating to its market cap today. $80 billion. They launched a competitor to Mac Mini, which is really cool. We'll take we could just look at it right now. AMD I don't think this is why it's up, but pretty sick rollout that they just shipped. AMD.
Now, I would say this is pretty beautiful. Do you guys agree? So let me tell you what it is. This is the smallest AI development system in the world, capable of running models with up to 200 billion parameters locally, not connected to anything. It's powered by our highest-end Ryzen AI Max processor with 128 gigabytes of high-speed unified memory that is shared by CPU, GPU, and NPU. This architecture accelerates system performance and makes it possible to efficiently run large AI models on a compact desktop PC that fits in your hand. Thank you.
We know, I've been screaming this. Local AI is such a big narrative. I just don't know. The problem is it's packed in these monster companies. It's packed. It's like in these multi-trillion-dollar companies. Raspberry Pi. How related to the local AMD? Wait. Ryzen AI to run local AI models. And then, yeah, this is it right here. How much is it? It looks like it's a monster. It's pretty beautiful. I don't even have a Mac Mini. Not a Mac Mini competitor. Reserve yours. It's $4,000. It's a monster though. Yeah, it's 4 bands. What do you think? Is anyone here a computer nerd? And buying? I don't know much about Tulip King. What do you think of the specs? Oh, got it. Raspberry Pi lets you run a local device cheaply. Got it. Who has 4 bands? Let's see. It's basically up to 60 gigabytes of RAM. AI add-ons. Got it. It's not right. Yeah, this is actually Raspberry Pi is an interesting expression of it. And it's just like the company just makes these Raspberry Pis. Interesting. Let's see, RPI. Huh. It's only worth $1.5 billion. I like this as a trade. Does anyone hold this? Raspberry Pi. Oh, they're fucking cheap. You could run a model on this. How big of a local model can I run on a RPI and for how much? Llama 3.2? That's not gonna work. So what's the point? So it's useless. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Yeah. You could maybe run some like super niche model that could do a couple things. Yeah, that's not gonna work for us. The problem is there's just not a clean expression to this because it's these big It's Apple's huge. Like you can't get direct exposure to Mac Mini from Apple. Same with AMD. They're too big. These companies are too big. It's not gonna work. It could maybe run Whisper. Is there any other expression of local AI hardware that isn't trapped in some monster company like AMD or Apple? Qualcomm. What is this? They provide AI car assistance. Tense Torrent might compete with Mac, M3, and Nvidia. Yeah, nothing basically, it feels to me. Also, one more time, if you're on YouTube and Twitter, you want to chat, twitch.tv/threadguy. There's all these guys in here that are giving us advice, but I don't read the YouTube chat. I don't read the YouTube chat. Come back. Yeah, anyways, we'll come back. Let's keep going, though. Rocket Lab, interestingly enough, YouTube gang rise up. It's up 7%. SanDisk, unbelievable, man. Another 7% day. Another ATH on SanDisk. ASTS Space, that's up 6. Bloom up 5. AOS Cell, D Gill stock is up 5. Firefly Space stock up, but chart is pretty ugly. Meta, finally, up 5. I wondered if Meta and social media sites were going to get negative tailwinds from the UK banning social media, but I guess we just don't give a fuck about UK users. I don't know. Didn't move at all. It went up. Oracle up 5. QCOM up 4. Nvidia up 3.5. Cloudflare is up 3.1. Amazon up 3. Broadcom up 3. Intel 2. Google 2.5. Up substantially now from that dilution mark. Microsoft looks terrible, still under 400. Biggest losers are only a couple. SPCE Space is down 9. Serenity Sive is down 7. Redwire is down 2. IBM is down 1. And Salesforce is down 1 on news that they did acquire. What did they acquire today? They acquired Finn, formerly Intercom. Let's see. Formerly was Intercom for $3.6 billion to expand agent force with customer service AI agents. Finn's AI platform resolves an average of 76% of support volume end-to-end and serves 30,000 plus companies. As a dev, Cloudflare is the GOAT. I would top blast that for the vibes alone. I should have blasted Cloudflare on the Mythos first fear-mongering announcement, but it wasn't. My brain wasn't. I didn't clock it. I'm not programmed yet for some of these trades, but we're getting there. I didn't know. Honestly, I didn't know enough stocks, but we're getting there. Let me break some of these down. All right, moving on. Okay, some of our like consumer SaaS everything names. Hims looks great. I wonder why. Just because general bio rotation here is maybe happening. What is Eli Lilly up today? Eli Lilly's down today. Interesting. Well, Hims looks great. 13% day. It is. I have 2 researchers, 2 looking in DNAP full time. They're the best. It is definitively above the Brian Johnson launched his RX drug platform, which is nice to see. Reddit is up 12. All social media is up today. I guess we don't care about the UK. What about ServiceNow? I don't know that much about it. First chatter, by the way. Welcome. Give first chatter some W's. Appreciate you joining. Nebbies is up 12. DoorDash is up 11. Snapchat is up 9. Honestly, everybody should just ban Snapchat. I would support that. Ban Snap. I'm here for that, honestly. I'm down for that. You guys constantly have the best updates. Thank you, brother. We will fucking work hard, man. That's my full-time everything. All we do is to stream. Circle is up 7 with the rest of crypto. The block looks really good. Coinbase up 6. MicroStrategy up 5. Roblox up 5. I actually have heard quite a few. I watched a lot of your meme coin stuff. Hell yeah. I've actually seen quite a few people tell me they're bullish on Roblox. I'm trying to think who the last one was. Oh, I met this really smart crypto Chad who trades equities this weekend. And he was, oh, sorry, I didn't realize you can't see my screen. He was bull posting Roblox pretty hard. The stats on Roblox are crazy, by the way. I think he told me something like any random 14 or under American has a 1 out of 2 chance of being a Roblox player. Crazy. No, it wasn't Rhino. I wish, dude. I fucking wish. Rhino sold, I think. I wish it was Rhino. Crazy. The numbers on Roblox are nuts. Hood with another sick day up 5.3. Did anyone hold Hood? That emit stock looks unbelievable. Airbnb up 5. Unity up 4. I'm trying to get into stocks. We do a lot of stocks here, man. You're home. Welcome. Texas Instruments, Ferrari up 4. Shopify up 4. SoFi up 3.3. Kind of like the SoFi CEO cucked SoFi. He basically said it can't go up until rates get cut. And so now you have like, I feel like because he said that and rates are not going to get cut, the Hood SoFi chart is just like, look at this, bro. Up only. It's up only, bro. Why would you say that? I don't know. It was very bizarre the way that he said that. Also, yeah, Rolls Royce. Rolls Royce is up 4% today on the announcement that I didn't even know Rolls Royce was public. Not that. Sweden picks Rolls Royce for new nuclear reactors. I don't even know what that means. Rolls Royce nuclear reactors. Look at this. Sweden's Vattenfall picks Rolls Royce SMR for nuclear power project. And so Swedish utility Vattenfall said on Monday it selected Rolls Royce to supply small modular nuclear reactors, choosing the British company over the U.S. rival GE Vernova. Let's see if that got hurt. GE Vernova, should it be down? GEV is up 4% as well. The Rolls-Royce agreement is a significant step in building new nuclear power and will result in lower electricity prices for consumers. The British government, which had lobbied for Rolls-Royce to secure the contract, said it would expect a multi-billion-pound deal. It's crazy. I didn't know Rolls-Royce could build like nuclear cars. What's the market cap of Rolls-Royce? You ever driven a Rolls-Royce? Let's see. It's $109 billion. There was an era where there was a Cullinan rental that was around. And bro. Insane. I'm just gonna say. I had an era where there was a Cullinan rental that was around for a little bit, a couple weeks. Unbelievable. It's like the most luxurious car you've ever set foot in your entire life. Enhanced Games, Biggest Loser. Pusa down. AMC down. Sweet Green down 2. What else we got? Figma down like 1%. GME down flat. Basically, StubHub has been trading very well, by the way. There's a couple people that are long StubHub right now. I think Basics and Z is long, and I think this J Boltard guy is long. It's up 10% since I entered it. I have it all spot. I'll show you the interaction, actually. Kind of fired me up. J Boltard. He tweeted, here we go. Okay, long stub. I was violated on the fees for these World Cup tickets for Wednesday. This is legalized extortion. seriously, if StubHub makes a meaningful move on the news of like the World Cup, it's definitely going to change how I think about markets a little bit, because to me that was such an obvious catalyst in the future. I almost like assumed it was priced in, because how would it not be priced in? Everyone knows the World Cup is coming to America. StubHub is the primary platform to use that, but maybe not. So I'm very fascinated with how SpaceX is going to trade over, or not SpaceX, StubHub is going to trade over the next couple weeks here with World Cup. All right, Eli's, what do you got? Yeah, so it's here. SpaceX does not intend to release quarterly or annual financial reports or other material news through wire distribution services. SpaceX will announce material information to public primarily through investor relations page on its X account. Movie. Bro, we're very uniquely positioned to trade these markets as a crypto brain. It's just, man, I don't know. I don't really want to sell it. I'm sorry. I think it's going to go really high. Feels like it's going to go really high, man. And that is most of our consumer. Did I miss anything you wanted to shout out? By the way, I didn't realize that Robinhood had its own prediction market, and they're printing volume right now. I had thought it was just Kalshi, but Robinhood has their own prediction market, and I think it's done like 160, $200 million of volume, like very quickly. I had thought it was Kalshi, but yeah, they have their own, and it's doing really well. So it was cool to see that for Robinhood is trading very, very, very well. All right, last but not least, altcoins. Yeah, I mean, I always assumed their end goal was to do their own thing. Jito, biggest gainer in alts. This thing is up 32%. I'm fading it, not gonna lie, because I'm fading Solana, but looks unbelievable. Layer 0 up 15, Aerodrome up 15, that's a fade. Monero up 10, nice. Near up 10, Aave up 10, fade. Jupiter up 7, also a fade. Grass, Farcoin up 3, and Pump Fund is actually green, 0.23%. Daily Jerker, what's good? Tau, all right. I longed Tau as a Fable expression, mainly because, I don't know, I saw Base 16Z bull posting it really hard, and I'm like, you know what? I think it's a decent stab. I'm only interested in short-term trades where I feel like I have a 3-to-1 risk to reward with more than a 50% hit rate opportunity. So I entered this position like right here. Yeah, I bought it like, let me get rid of this. I want 3-to-1 with over 50% hit rate. I feel like most of your trades are Base 16Z cosigns. I think I have like a similar type of stuff I like to, there's like a similar thesis I like to enter on, and he's usually a little bit quicker to it than I am. He's also a pretty good confirmation if he starts bull posting. It's like, especially with crypto, it doesn't take that much to rip this stuff. I think I entered right here. 276. I bought 276, 280, 285, and I went to like 291. The thing about the Tau long is that I don't believe in Tau at all. Nobody can explain it. I think tokenomics suck, and I do not think it is useful as a replacement for Fable getting banned. I just don't. It's not useful. I'm sorry for that. It's not. It's not a proxy. It may be narrative, but the thing about, okay, so I'm gonna walk you through this trade. Is I exited right here. I exited right here. Minus 5K. I was long 10% of my perps book, and it's a trade I would take 10 out of 10 times. I would take it again if I could have. I would take it every single time. The thing about it though is like, if you were a Fable proxy on that announcement, you need to get re-rated up like instantly, right? Because it's a news catalyst, and so it has to happen almost instantaneously, and it wasn't. And the fact that I even got a chance to enter it so calm and casually was a red flag in its own. I also didn't believe in it. And so I think that there's like a stop loss for price and there's like a stop loss for time. And so I'm sitting here thinking to myself, every minute that passes where this thing is not candling green, thesis is invalidated. And so by this morning, I'm on our company call and I'm like, thesis is completely invalidated. It's been 2 days. It hasn't moved. And it's like 272. I set a stop for 270, I think. And just when it hits it, I'm out. If I get a bail out, pump from God, I'll take it. But I'm down to lose a couple extra bucks just to let myself get stopped. So it might go up, but it's not going to go up for being decentralized AI for Fable, which is very unfortunate because I wish we had a really good narrative for decentralized AI and crypto. And I'm not convinced that we do. I don't believe in Paralysis, really. I don't know enough about it. There's things like Pearl I don't know that much about. I wish we had a narrative. I don't believe that we do. If somebody has one, please tell me, because I would love to blast it with size. But unfortunately, nothing really got flows except for a couple like Chinese open source companies that ripped. And we're going to spend time on Fable very shortly here. But that was my Tau trade. I'm taking it every day. Special situation opportunity, low-key from God. Such a massive one with Anthropic being such a big company and Fable being such an important model. But I got something out of Tau, and I'm no longer long Tau. Last but not least, on-chain. I've been hearing whispers that on-chain is back, but I don't know what you're in. Also, really quick, I do like the Tau team. I think Const is awesome. Had Mark Jeffrey on, liked him. I'm just not a believer in many alts, and they are no exception. All right, Geode, Kyle Samani. Wow, it's actually up. 100 mil. Scam Altman, 200K. Cards, 63 mil. Railgun is nice. 180 on Railgun. Neat. Did I miss roll call? I'm geeked. What's that game that Ansem is shilling? Asteroid got a little pump. 44. KINS, thank you. Kanatra. What do you think about this? I don't know much about it, but I've seen a lot of people bull posting it. Is it fun or no? Damn, the official account retweeted somebody selling 6 figures of the coin. Why would they do that? Why would the official company account retweet someone selling 6 figures of it on a P&L card? An axiom, nonetheless. Yeah, I'm good. Let's remove that. And let's take a look real quick at our best traders. I don't know, best traders, our favorite traders. Wow, Loracle, all-time P&L. Back in the fucking green, plus 2.7 mil. Wow. Zek Long, UPNL 6.4. Near Long, 1 mil. World Coin Long, 840,000. Monero Long, plus 250,000. Holy fuck. Dude, he was minus 6 mil last week. He's plus 2.7 mil from the depths of fucking hell. Remember the last crypto game he played on stream? Interviewed Peter Griffin. That was hilarious. Wow, good for Loracle, man. How about Garrett Bullish in that Bitcoin long? Can't be that bad. It's minus 12 mil. But his Zek long is printing. That is plus 4 mil. It's better than minus 18 and minus 4. Now we're minus 12 plus 4. Wow, Loracle. Good for... Are people tweeting about Loracle right now? Good for fucking Loracle. Wow. Good for fucking Loracle. All right. That is official market close. SpaceX has 192. We have a lot to discuss. So I am going to get up real quick. When I come back, we are going to get right into, there's a really good all-in podcast from a couple days ago. I am in SpaceX long. We are going to talk about war and oil ending from 167 is my entry in SpaceX. It's 192. We're going to talk about war and oil. We're going to talk about Fable. We're going to talk about what we're doing. We're going to talk about Warsh, Chinese models, Zcash return, and everything in between. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. There's a lot to cover. I'll be right back. See you in like 30 seconds. $16-year-olds. That's hilarious. That's really good. I know I got a big like British band thing going right now. Not gonna lie. All right. First and foremost is I think for the foreseeable future, war and oil is no longer going to be on our daily topic list after today. Can we get some W's for that? I think at least for the next couple weeks, at least the next couple days. Let's go one thing at a time. At least for the next couple of days, we are not going to have war and oil to discuss, which is, I don't even know. And so, quick update, I guess, I'll read you, is following intensive talks, we're pleased to announce that the peace deal reached between the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran has been reached. Both sides have declared the immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts, including in Lebanon. The official signing ceremony will be on Friday 19th in Switzerland, which is in 4 days. We would like to thank the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran for their commitment to finding a diplomatic solution to the conflict. We'd like to extend our sincere appreciation to our brothers in this mediation effort, the great leadership of state of Qatar for their support in reaching this agreement. I would also especially thank the visionary leadership of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Republic of Turkey for their immense contributions in this regard. With the agreement now in place, mediators will facilitate a series of meetings this week. These pre-implementation discussions will lay the foundation for the technical talks and the official signing ceremony. By the way, it is crazy the Ukraine war is still going on. It's really crazy how much damage Ukraine has done. the drone warfare. I didn't even, before we were streaming every day, I didn't realize how much of a chance that they had. But I mean, how much longer can that really go on? Russia and Ukraine. It seems Ukraine has done like unbelievable amounts of damage as well. And they may be advancing, right? They're blowing up oil refineries in Russia. Like, it feels like we're at a complete stalemate. Russia can't get any further, and it's stalled forever. Is anything even happening there? Yeah, bro. It's fucking gnarly over there still. So the way that I understand where we're at right now is that a deal has been signed. They're going to lift the blockade. The Strait of Hormuz is going to open. The United States is going to pay Iran $300 billion, which is just hard to even believe how much money that is. It feels to me like the U.S., this was a spot where both parties could say that they won and we could go back and we could be done with it and we could move on. But this was not U.S. domination. They're going to pay Iran $300 billion, which is crazy. I mean, that's unfathomable how much money that is to open the Strait of Hormuz, which was already open before the war started. No tolls on the strait. But the real scary part here, which is why I say we won't talk about it for days, but definitely not weeks, is that a 60-day negotiation period to reach a final agreement on nuclear issues and the complete removal of U.S. primary and secondary sanctions, as well as related UN Security Council and IAEA measures. Basically, we have 60 days to decide the important stuff, and it's not decided. So that, along with Israel striking Lebanon today, they don't seem to know that the war ended 2 months ago, basically means that we are not going to be done. And I think there's going to be some scares at some point in the near future. You are going to get the fear and the scares and the jump scares, oil rips, strikes, comments from BB. Like, there's going to be escalation scares. And I think I'm just going to turbo fade it. I think I'm going to turbo fade any scare the same way that we've been doing. But it feels like over the course of 60 days, if there's any historical precedent for how it has played out up to this point, you're going to get some fears. Like, we're going to get some bullshit's going to happen. Some bullshit's going to happen. Yeah. After the U.S.-Iran deal, Tel Aviv turns red while Tehran turns green. I'm pre-firing a fade on any escalation that happens. And here's the last thing we're going to watch for war and oil.
In the next 2 weeks, he believes a deal with Iran will be signed in the next 2 to 3 hours. I asked him about the Israeli strikes earlier today against Hezbollah in the Lebanese capital of Beirut. He tells me he spoke on the phone with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, asking him, "What the F are you doing?" He told the Prime Minister not to conduct additional strikes against Hezbollah so that it doesn't affect this deal from moving forward. Now, the Israelis are bracing for the possibility of incoming Iranian ballistic missile fire, according to the IDF. And President Trump tells Fox News he will ask Iran not to respond with missile fire toward Israel, with this deal on the horizon expected to be signed tonight. All of this taking place amid the backdrop of these latest conversations to get this final agreement across the finish line. The president talked about the strikes in the middle of last week when he was...
Yeah, so it's going to be more bullshit, and there'll probably be some more of this, Israel unsanctioned strike and fear and scary headlines and some oil rips. But I think we clocked it pretty well on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that it felt the closest to being done that it had ever been, and it is definitely now the closest to being done that it has ever been. The market moved on 2 months ago. It just did. The market moved on 2 months ago. And so I would auto fade. TG, seriously, what do you think of Israel? Nice question. I would auto fade any scare and fear the way that we've done it. There still might be a moment where it goes, but I'm prepared to auto fade. Also, this is a really good post, which is like 60-day talks to cover sanction removal, reconstruction plans, and overnight mechanisms. The veil of uncertainty is not fully lifted, so there's some wall of worry to be climbed. The carrot to drag markets higher stays on. Will the bearish remain stubborn? And so it's not quite enough to flip Calvin and pee poo poo and oil bulls. It is enough to let markets go higher, but you continue a wall of worry that can be climbed and flipped into more positive PA with the dangling carrot. It's in many ways, it's kind of beautiful what Trump has pulled off. In many ways, like him or hate him, right? Like, I mean, I personally was caught off sides quite a few times on these moves because the way that Trump has maneuvered the market, I think, has been a masterclass. Really, it has. The way that he maneuvered the war, entirely different story. But the market, like, agree or disagree, the way that Trump maneuvered the war was unbelievable. We never had a down day. We never had a single 2% red day on the SPY the entire war. How is that possible? We had many 2% green days. We did not have one 2% red day the entire war on the SPY. I think he handled it unbelievably well. Also, while we're talking, they're just ripping this. They are ripping this. Are we saying the Bitcoin bottom was the 59K or is this a fake bounce? I think you could make an argument that that was the bottom, but I don't buy bottoms. And so the Bitcoin one's going to be no different for me. Just like SpaceX up 20% in the day. I don't buy bottoms. I'm not interested in buying a bottom on crypto at all. So, all right. On that topic, now that we're done with war and oil, the biggest announcement from the weekend that we just have to, I know it's a little bit old now, but we just have got to talk about it, is Anthropic announced Friday night, basically right after we got off stream. Oh, I updated my computer time. That's cool. Oh no, I didn't update my computer time. It's still West Coast. Yeah, basically 9 o'clock. Anthropic comes out and announced that per the U.S. government, Fable, the latest model, which is basically a watered down version of Mythos that has this these containment guardrails, has been banned for non-US, but now also US people. Banned from everybody. After it had been released for, I think it was released like 4 days. Did anyone get a chance to use it? I barely did. From what I understand, it was by far, head and shoulders, the greatest model they've ever put out. And, you know, Anthropic has been charading around this AI is going to destroy everything narrative and that we need government approval and regulation, seemingly because they want to be the proxy to do the government regulation. And in many ways, I think that they got what they were asking for. I think that they got what they were asking for, really. And so the story is hard to digest, but this is the story that I've read multiple occasions. Okay. Is the last 24 hours before the White House slapped export controls on Anthropic. One, last Thursday, Amazon CEO Andy Jassy raised concerns about a Fable jailbreak to the Trump admin. Remember, Fable is a watered down version of Mythos in these guardrails. So if you were able to like break the guardrails, you could get access to the full, powerful, all-seeing model. Friday AM, that Trump admin, basically Sean, Besant, Susie, etc., held a White House call to discuss. The White House started reaching out to Anthropic to speak with Dario, who was at a wellness retreat. When Dario was finally available past 1 p.m., he had 3 tense phone calls with a combo of people, including Besant, Lutnick, Kessler, He's at a wellness retreat. Dario tried to clear up what he assumed was a misunderstanding. He defended the guardrails and distinguished between universal and non-universal jailbreak. Karen Cross and Besant. Who is Karen Cross? Sean Carencross is the United States National Cyber Director for the Trump admin. Got it. Karen Cross and investors were unmoved and asked Dario to take down Fable and work with the admin to fix the vulnerabilities. Dario asked for more time and info, but he made no commitments to pull the model. Besson told Dario directly at one point that he was making a bad decision. By Friday evening, the Trump admin had imposed its export controls. Quote, export controls were the last resort after begging them for hours to work with us. And so basically what happened is one of Anthropic's biggest investors, Amazon, jailbroke Fable, turned it into Mythos, told Dario that this was a problem and he should pull it down and fix the problem. Dario said to go fuck yourself. So he then went to the White House and told Besson and a slew of cronies in the Trump admin that this is the problem. They reached out to Dario. They couldn't get in contact with him because he was at a wellness retreat. Finally, they get in contact and they said, Dario, take it down. We need to fix this. Let's work together. He said no. They said, Dario, take this down. Let's fix it. Let's work together. He said no. And then they said, all right, cool. They slapped export controls on it. They banned it. They banned anyone outside of the US from using Fable, and they banned it in the US as well. And then as we sit, nobody can use Fable, and we now had the first instance of government intervention on these AI models, which definitely changes the game. So a couple oh my God. A couple takes that I'm going to read, and then I have a couple. One, Chamath makes an interesting tweet. Okay. The game theory from here is super interesting. The original Mag 7, the Mags, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta now have a serious non-zero opportunity to tank the frontier labs, OpenAI, Anthropic. Go to the government, kneecap the lab's motion of putting the latest model out in the world, become the trusted gatekeeper between the labs and the public at large by having the labs go through their clouds and implement strict KYC to seal a deal. The Frontier Lab should have seen this coming years ago and implemented a robust KYC just for this moment. The fact that they didn't is kind of concerning. Why did they not do it? Best guess is because it would have changed the run rate revenues downward, which would have changed the funding dynamics. Lower valuations, more dilution, less secondary. A valuation reset may now happen anyways, except the labs may end up with less control and more restrictions at the end of it. At the same time, everyone is already clamoring about token prices and of the old models from the labs anyways. This couldn't be a better setup for open source, which is by far the biggest beneficiary, and neoclouds. Big question is, can they meet the moment? There are too few of them, and their progress seems sporadic at best. Nebius Chad's rise up is right. Followed by the obvious big winner from all of this is going to be open weights models. Huge win for the field as a risk that was entirely theoretical and untested 2 days ago. Now has a new precedent that's never been set. The game theory the US should highly consider, and the risk with regulating AI at the model layer versus applied layer, is that other countries now have even more incentive to develop sovereign AI, specifically China, which is dominating open source AI. At any moment, a model can become unavailable at your country's users or businesses. This poses a very real risk on relying on technology from a particular country. As a result, and this is very important as it relates to sovereign AI, it forces major countries to charter their own path on AI development, which reduces America's leadership role in this tech stack over time. The most likely solution that other countries will rely on is open weight models, which currently is generally not coming from the US. Last but not least, it doesn't sound like we'll be getting Fable back anytime soon. The bottom line, one option is to make sure Anthropic's models cannot be jailbroken, though perfect jailbreak resistance may be impossible. Absent that, a source familiar with the administration's thinking said it may simply come down to an attitude fix, where instead of feeling dismissed, everyone feels safe, secure, and happy. So, I mean, there's a couple takes. Number one, and Tulip King raised a couple. I'm going to steal some Tulip King takes. Number one is the government was right about Anthropic. Do you remember when the Department of War was fighting with Anthropic over using their models. And they were basically concerned. I'm here for YouTube. Welcome, 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 welcome. The government was concerned that if they were to use an Anthropic model that they did not have full control over, they were going to be unable to, they're in war. They're going to be unable to use it for what they want to use it to. They're going to get randomly downgraded and it's going to be a disaster. And Dario was like, no, trust us. We just have concerns with these couple line items. We're not going to downgrade you. We're going to let you use it as like trust. Well, they were right. Objectively, Pete Hegseth, I got to give the guy some credit. They were right because Dario was not going to cooperate with that. And they were downgrading usage. And oftentimes they were not telling people, right? If you were to go ask Fable about making a bomb or about fertilizer or about some like KYC required question, they would just downgrade you to a weaker model. They wouldn't tell you they were doing it, and they would charge you as if you were using Fable. And so there's this crazy clip on the All In podcast where Jason asks Fable about fertilizer, and it downgrades him. And it doesn't tell him, and he goes into the thinking, and he can see that Fable like downgraded the power of model he was able to use because he was asking it like a question that resided amongst what they deemed to be unsafe and whatnot. And so it brings you to the second problem, which is like Dario and these effective altruist group of people are fucking nuts, bro. I'm sorry. If you ever meet someone that is like through and through an effective altruist, I think these people are nuts. They're nuts. It doesn't make any sense. The concept makes no sense. First and foremost, make as much money as humanly possible by any means necessary. Do whatever you need to do to make as much money as you can and then give it all away. These EA guys are lunatics. They are lunatics. Sachs has been saying this, by the way. These AI people are these EA. Sam Bankman-Fried was an EA. These effective altruist people are lunatics. Crypto knows this all too well. Once again, crypto education strikes very well. And so Tulip King raises other take to me I think was very interesting, which is like the thing about these models and the thing that Elon versus Anthropic has showed is, I'm going to use a forbidden word, tuning and making and shipping these models is very like taste driven. It's not just compute. Like there's some math equation and a solid percentage of it is taste. Elon has showed this where it's like they have more compute, more data than anybody, and Grok sucks. Grok's terrible, right? And so making models in many ways is taste. And in order to make a tasteful model as powerful as Anthropic, you have to fully fry your brain and believe you're building superintelligence God. In order to make a model as good as Anthropic, you have to be completely one-shot and fried and think you're building like the Messiah. But the problem with being one-shot and thinking you're building the Messiah is it leads to a good model, but it also leads to complete detachment from society and way more tension with government, right? Way more. It doesn't work with society. And so you go deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole. You build a better model and you get more and more tension from society. You get detached, completely out of touch, and then you have more tension. And these things go like I think it really goes like this. And so the problem like Anthropic runs into now is that the better their models get, the more fried they get, the more tension socially in government things get. And it's just going to lead to this like it's not going to get less tense from here. And so, yeah, they do want to regulate all AI on their terms, but now they're in this really tough spot. They're in a really, really, really tough spot where what happens with me, I don't entirely know. And so I'm asking the question of what is the trade? And I think the thesis, I don't know what the expression is, but the thesis is like, what's the trade if Anthropic gets exponentially better and the government hates Anthropic exponentially more? It just goes like this. Anthropic models get 10x better. Government hates Anthropic 10x more. What happens? Can the USA ban Anthropic? I'm being told yes, USA can ban Anthropic. What's the historical precedent for that happening? I don't really know. Is it long SpaceX? I don't hate that. The problem is XAI sucks. No, they're a long way away from banning it. They have not banned it. They have not banned it. They've slapped export controls. They've really not banned it. But can they? I don't know. And what happens if they do? Long OpenAI, long SoftBank, maybe short Zoom. I don't know. I don't know. But I think it's just a thought to murmur on is what happens if Anthropic gets 10x better and the government hates them 10x more. I actually wonder how SoftBank is trading on this. How is Soft? This is crazy, by the way. I'm just watching this chart. Look at this. $198. It's up 3% after hours. $2.5 trillion. Wait. No, I'm actually surprised this didn't pump. SoftBank owns 20% of OpenAI. SoftBank owns 90% of ARM. It owns 13%. Did I miss a bot update? No. Microsoft has 27%, but that's too messy. Yeah, SoftBank. I would think OpenAI could go on Anthropic news, but I don't know. Maybe whoever the government decides has the most control over AI regulation. Like what if it's Zuck? What if it's Zuck? By the way, generationally missed opportunity with Llama on Zuck. They could be. Can you imagine if Meta did not fumble Llama and they had a legitimate competitive open source model that was out right now, how the stock would be trading right now? It would be, I think, yeah, I just don't think they're good at trading models. I think trading models are really hard. I don't understand how trading models works. But I do know when they shipped Llama 4, it was pretty bleeding edge and it was open source, and they could be in an unreal spot right now. Imagine Trump decided Zuck is in control of AI regulation in the White House, or like lead some AI team, and they had a competitive open source model. Meta would be at all-time highs. It would be at all-time highs right now. They fucked up pretty bad. Crazy to see. So the thing that's the most exciting about the market right now is that nobody knows what's going to happen in the next couple of years at all. And information is fully democratized and equal. And so the only edge right here is conviction. And it's really hard to have conviction in a regime where you don't really know what's going to happen. And it feels like the world is changing every day. This Anthropic announcement feels like new precedent. Things are changing. Massive change. And what can happen after that, now that the government already ripped export controls on Mythos, is like a big, giant question mark. It's pretty wild to think about. I have a stream on Pretty Loud. You said Grok sucks. I got a notification that I have 67% off Super Grok. That's terrifying. That is actually terrifying, my friend. And this is this is insane. What percent are we up? We traded this fucking pretty well. Is anyone in the stream long SpaceX because of how we covered it? Yeah, it's nuts. Is anyone long SpaceX because of like the Good Alexander stream or how we covered it? Live trading on stream? No. I'm just looking at my position. All right. All right. Big TG looking good. Thanks, brother. Thank you, brother. All right. I want to watch a couple. Let's watch a little media. All in podcasts did a show on Friday right before the announcement. And right before the Anthropic announcement, and there's like 3 or 4 clips that have really good takes, and I think it's important. I want to watch it. I watched it last night, but let's watch it again.
Managed. It should make investments in AI companies and every sovereign wealth fund owner in these businesses. Social Security should be reformed into a sovereign wealth fund.
I don't like this one as much. Let's start here.
End up needing to use open source models. As a result, we are likely going to end up
This is the best take, by the way. China is like the biggest beneficiary of this.
important scientific development work. As a result, we are likely going to end up needing to use open source models and run them locally ourselves. So the reason I walk through all of that is so
Open source and local AI. How do we long it?
people can really understand the context of what's going to happen here. As folks like Anthropic say, hey, we're going to restrict access or censor the output of these models, it is going to force companies like ourselves who still want to take advantage of the capability of these LLMs to go and get open source tools and run them. And what are the best open source models today? They're Chinese.
Yeah, they are.
And that is a major concern. The American open source models are not as good as the Chinese open source models. So the restrictions that Anthropic and others are putting upon themselves and upon the industry is forcing a lot of companies to go and get open source Chinese models and run them. We're seeing this across the
Chinese open source and local hardware. The local hardware demand, I think it's going to be huge. It'd be cool if DeepSeek was public, yeah.
landscape with startups,
see it
with
in all of
large-scale
our startups,
enterprises. Everyone's making that move.
Yeah. And this is something we've been talking about here with Apple and their silicon and how well you can run these models. Also, I predict your next
Maybe it just is Apple. I don't know. Maybe it just is Apple.
card you'll turn over is you'll start making your own models, Freeberg. You'll take all this data you have.
It's exactly right. And we'll start with the core model, combine it with our data, and then we'll have our own genome language model or our own prediction model that we'll then use internally. And I think that's where folks are going. But the reason I point this out is because a lot of folks are feeling the pressure from Anthropic doing this, and they're feeling the pressure from politicians repeating the scary words that are being said by Dario
Yes.
and others. And as a result, they are going to try, and they are already trying to force either natural enforcement or politicized enforcement upon the model providers in a way that is ultimately going to benefit Chinese open source model providers. And that is a scary thing because we are going to damage our own kind of economic viability. You can't just stop AI. As much as everyone says AI is doomsday, by stopping AI or trying to stop AI through this political action and social, kind of behavior, you are fundamentally going to give someone else the advantage because the AI isn't going to go away.
UK needs to hear this too. It's not going to go away. It's a really good, this is a good take, man.
So the reason I
Correct.
describe what we're doing is for everyone to really understand in Grok that you can't just turn off AI and turn off access to these things. What you will do is you will force the hand of someone else to now have an unfair advantage because you're unfairly restricting
Yes.
your models and your access to those models.
Well, really well said, Freeberg. Sachs, what's your take just in terms of the chessboard?
Let's watch this too.
In terms of, we've got the business case here, we got the local case, but
Also,
there's a
YouTube.
lot of
Push the
issues
TV
here
slash threadguy.
with Anthropic in terms of them essentially throwing up every red flag to get regulated, to induce, and it'll be our second story, the Bernie Sanders seizing half the equity of these companies. But man, this is saying, look over here, we're starting a fire, regulate the hell out of us, which also then makes you wonder, hey, maybe I should be doing my own model. Maybe I should be embracing open source models. How's this chessboard developing here, Sachs?
Well, look, 8 months ago, I said that Anthropic was engaged in a very sophisticated regulatory capture campaign based on fear-mongering. And people at the
By the way, I have mad respect for David Sachs speaking so candidly on this stuff, especially when he's so deep in the White House. You don't, all in podcasts is go to because you don't get a lot of this. People really just, this is the best part about the media era is people just speak so candidly because they're on the podcast circuit. Well done.
time thought that was a very spicy take. But 8 months later, I think you're hearing a lot of people say it. In fact, I think it's almost now becoming a new consensus. And one of the things I think your summary didn't quite capture, J-Cal, is the sense of the violation of trust and how much outrage there is in the developer community over this latest Fable release. It's not just the fact that they're doing mandatory surveillance. Remember, this is the company that said that it was against government surveillance. They are now retaining for 30 days every prompt and every output you send to one of these Mythos class models. There are no exceptions. Even enterprise customers who had signed 0 data retention agreements, they do not have a choice, or I guess they can just not use the new Fable or Mythos class models. but they retain all of your data for 30 days. And it's not just the prompts and the output. Remember, it's all the context you share with them. So, you know, all these agent platforms are basically...
So anything you share with Mythos for 30 days or Fable, they kept on file. I guess they only had 4 days worth of it, but they kept it on file too. There's no way to opt out. No way to keep your data. And so imagine when that hack comes, the inevitable hack that will happen at some point, the data breach of these LLMs, that's the day VVV pumps.
Storing all of your memories, all of your files, all of your data, and they're passing them to the model in these giant context windows to get better responses. Anthropic is saying it will keep all of that, and it does it to build a profile on you, to classify you, and then to determine what capabilities it then unlocks. And the thing that created the most outrage, in addition to the surveillance, is the fact that they would degrade the product. They would degrade what they show you.
This is why the White House is right. You ask a bad question, and they knock your model down.
They would nerf their models if it decided in Anthropic's sole discretion that you are not worthy of having access to that level of information. So they're creating a new level of AI haves and have-nots. And what they did is, there's a narrow piece where they walk back, which is they said that when it came to things like machine learning, AI research, chip design research, those types of areas, they would kick you to a lesser model, but not tell you that. And they would even do
which
things...
feels anti-competitive, right? I mean...
It's completely anti-competitive. And also, they would even do things like rewrite your prompt in the background. So they would give you a nerfed answer.
Think about this.
They would not tell you what they were doing. They would still charge you for the product that you thought you were getting. And they would never tell you that you were not getting frontier model capability.
As the frontier models, if they continue the rate of growth ahead of the non-frontier models, the permanent underclass gating now becomes who has access to the best models, who is allowed to use the best models. There's this other topic they talk about. I don't know if it's in the clips that I have saved, where it's like, okay, let's say Anthropic has the best model, Mythos, and it's like one standard deviation better than model number 2. And Anthropic is manually deciding who gets access and who doesn't. They're kicking people down or kicking people up based on the questions they ask. It's the best model in the world. And then Anthropic is actively investing, and they have an investment in some drug discovery biotech company. And there's like 100 of competitors in the biotech drug discovery field. And they give, Fable 1.0 to all of the competitors. And then the company they're invested in gets Fable 3.0. And just like mogs everybody, and they're the only ones that have access. Like, you see the problem if one private closed lab wins the AI LLM race completely.
So they were actually misleading their users, and this is what was creating so much outrage. Now, the narrow piece they walk back is they are now saying that they will disclose when they downgrade you, but they are still downgrading people when they decide that that person should not receive the appropriate information. And you saw there were a lot of people posting online with examples of the massive overreach here. So someone showed that when they simply just asked a question about mitochondria, they were basically downgraded.
That's right.
When Ben Thompson from Stratechery asked a very straightforward question about the relationship between cancer risk and GLP-1s, he was kicked out. So these guys have a very expansive view of who should be downgraded. Again, they're going to surveil you to determine whether you should be. And I think what we're getting here is a vision of where all of this is headed, which is that these powerful big tech companies are going to decide whether you're worthy. They're going to decide whether you're an AI have or have not. And then they're going to censor the output that you receive based on the criteria they determine when they profile you. That is very Orwellian.
I think there's that. And I think that there's the risk of something that's more subtle.
I don't want to keep going if you're bored, but it's like, bro.
But equally insidious, which is that they will start to
mind you, this is before the export controls.
Pick which corporations they want to benefit. So, for example,
here's my
if
take.
Novartis has a competitive GLP-1 drug,
I stole the take,
to Lilly, and they have a strategic deal with Novartis and not one with Lilly, now there's an impetus to shape how people get information.
Right.
If they have a deal with JP Morgan, but not with Citibank, you'll just never know. And so you'll ask a question, something about mortgage rates or interest rates, and you'll get all kinds of stuff that you don't understand. And then the downstream part of this, which is even more problematic, is it's not clear to me that they're going to capture the actual fingerprint of what they did.
You work there?
So if you believe that something was done in a shady way, you're supposed to be able to go to them, or regulators should be able to go to them and say, Show me the trace of that model run in that exact moment that generated that output. Convince me why that wasn't nerfed on purpose or manipulated. And there's all kinds of ways in which they can hide the cheese on that. So I think that all of that body of stuff, Sachs, happens now. Because if you're an emergent company, what you should be doing is knocking on Anthropic's door saying, let's do a deal. I'll give you half the equity. And why don't you just direct people to me? And they'll say, well, economics are not what I care about. What is your philosophy on life, on morality, on all of these social issues? And one company will say it's A. Another company will say it's B. They'll favor A over B. And then all kinds of stuff can happen underneath the hood. That's what's scary.
Let me just ask my free market view. Like, should that matter? If
last take, and then we'll move on.
there's a bunch of models out there and we don't restrict them and we don't regulate them,
this is the most important part.
Let these markets compete. We had paid inclusion in the early days of search engines, and the companies had to pay to be in there, and there were all those sorts of deals you're describing, Chamath. And all the search engines that did those sorts of deals, they sucked for consumers and customers. Everyone was like, you know what, this isn't as good as Google. And everyone went over to the better model and the better provider. Isn't that what's going to happen here if we don't get in the way or keep the government out of it?
And they're not communicating.
It's a great point.
You're missing one piece of it, which is at the same time that Anthropic was engaging in mandatory surveillance and nerfing its models, Dario wrote a new blog post.
Oh, God.
Saying that transparency was no longer good enough, that we needed to have a new regulatory agency like an FAA or maybe an FDA to approve all models. So your presumption there is correct. Yes, if you could go somewhere else to get your questions answered, then you would have alternatives. But at the same time that Anthropic is engaging in this potentially anti-competitive behavior, they want to restrict your options. It's not good enough for them just to win in the free market. They're calling on the government.
Okay. So I thought Olin covered it unbelievably well. And that is basically like there's one more
Clearly been one-shotted. I think he's got like AI psychosis with these
Dario.
like 5,000 word blog posts, and he believes he's building this Frankenstein of a tool. But if you did believe you built something that's extremely powerful and you have concerns that people might misuse it, I think he actually believes that and these are either delusions of grandeur, or he actually has seen something that's incredibly powerful, and he believes this is dangerous. Therefore, I'm going to hold it. I'm going to give it to a select group of partners to tighten up the cybersecurity. Then I'm going to roll it out cautiously to our user base, and I'm going to let them know, and he obviously didn't communicate this well, this is optional for you to use it. You can keep using your old model. You are not forced to use this, but because it's so powerful, we're going to keep our eye on it. And yes, we might in our direct.
All right, so this is crazy thought, which is like, okay. Well, also this is a crazy thought. The city of Rio de Janeiro has post-trained a model. And so there's this like sovereign AI discussion that is now a big can of worms that just got opened. And this is Tulip King tweeted. Oh, actually, let's just read Tulip King's tweet because I think it's my favorite take. Remember when America froze those Russian assets and everybody sold gold, said gold was going to the moon, but it took a few years for the glaciers to move? Anthropic export controls are exactly this, but for AI. Really important. Will take longer to hit markets than you think. Neutral assets, in this case, compute will win. So there's this moment, right, in 2022 where Russia invades Ukraine and the US is backing Ukraine. And so as a response, the US says, hey, Russia, all of those American assets in American treasuries and bonds that you hold, they're now frozen and we control them and you have no access to them. And Russia and everybody else in the world that also had extreme, 100% allocation to US treasuries and bonds and assets and risk and markets and equities at the same time said, oh, fuck, we should probably have less than 100% because this is unprecedented and just happened for the first time and changes what we didn't think could happen, could now happen. And so what did they do is they sold a ton of it and they went and they slammed gold. That's what they did. They went and they slammed gold. And what's unique about it is if you are whoever, China, or not even China, insert any random country, you can buy $1 million worth of gold and you receive $1 million worth of gold. And so in a lot of ways, something similar just happened where the United States of America, China's a huge competitor, but the United States of America has the leading models. They have OpenAI, they have Anthropic. They're dominating in every aspect, AI. And every other country is using American models. And this Fable drama happens, and the first response was export controls. Okay, cool. Nobody outside of American citizens can use Fable. And at the same time, everybody said to themselves, oh, fuck. Okay. So what's the equivalent of the gold Russian treasury, Russian assets getting frozen gold trade? Well, it's a little bit of a weird one because if you're not, basically, if you're not China, you kind of have to pick a side. Because the way that you could sell $1 million, you could buy $1 million of gold and receive $1 million of gold, you could not spend, you can't spend $1 million and receive the equivalent on AI development because there's like a massive head start, finance bottleneck, and talent bottleneck. Like you can't just like acquire the greatest researchers in the world, which are all American, or the second greatest in the world, which are like China. And so you can't just buy gold as it relates to the AI trade. And so it makes this really weird like arms race where everyone now realizes this is possible if they didn't before, and they can get blackballed from American models, and they can't really compete in any meaningful manner. Like Brazil can't beat Anthropic with like Brazilian AI. They're like not going to beat Anthropic. It can't happen. There's no talent problem. There's a money problem. There's a build out problem. There's like there's like infinite bottlenecks that they just have no way to even compete with. And so, yeah, you get this sort of sovereign AI race where everybody has to like pick a side and, I don't know, catch up, partner with China, work with China. They can wrap open source Chinese models. What you really need is an incredible open source model. And that's what China is like dominating. And so, yeah, there's a floor based on how good those are. But it brings this sovereign AI discussion to the table, which I think is fascinating. Yeah, sovereign AI enjoyers should realize that nation states will be using NVIDIA and AMD GPUs to train their sovereign models, which will also get export controlled after a certain threshold. We also apparently have unwritten rules that frontier models can't be trained outside the US. The state of affairs won't persist for long, and it'll probably be up to the administration, the upcoming edition of Congress, to enshrine an actual written legal framework. And so there was this post that like Rio de Janeiro trained this Quen open source model at some level. And yeah, I think the whole fucking world just woke up on this Anthropic export controls announcement. And the biggest gainer of this whole thing, because you would think that there would have been more to trade, was this company, Zipu, was up 48%. Someone from Twitter just liked my post. That's sick. It was up 48%, and they, I believe, trained one of the leading open source models. Is that an open router DNAP? Let's see. Rankings. What are they ranked? GLM. Wait, where? Oh. This is them right here, ZAI. They're 17 on open router. Where's 5.2? Wait, what do you say? GLM and Moonshot, Kimmy, both better than Gemini. I don't understand why this pumped. This is token count. Why did it pump? But like Minimax is the second biggest, almost the biggest, did not pump. Wow. Why did Minimax not pump? So Minimax is open source AI as well. It pumped 7%. Apparently Minimax's ass and the revenue is funky. It's popular but worse. Wait. Okay. So these are all okay. DeepSeek private, Minimax. Tencent is not public, right? Or is it? Yes, it is. Okay. Tencent. Did this pump? No. Why did this not pump? So Tencent did not pump. They do too much other stuff. Got it. They're too big. When was the last time you used a Chinese model? I've never used a Chinese model, but I've never had to. Baba as well. Did not pump. Every good man at some point in their life tries a long Baba. And then it's Xiaomi. That's right. Didn't pump. You don't think the US will ban Chinese models? Well, it's kind of hard. How? This is kind of why I think these local AI devices are going to be so powerful. This didn't pump either. None of these pumped is crazy. You can't really ban open source. DeepSeek, 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 Google, NVIDIA. What's Step Fun? No, it's private. Private, Google, Poolside. Poolside is private. Google, Poolside. Then you have ZAI, Xiaomi again. Google, and then next AGI. Which is not public. And so basically you are left with Minimax, bad economics, Tencent too big, Xiaomi unclear. Anthropic, DeepSeek, so private, closed source, private, closed sourced, don't too big, private, closed, private, tradable and pumped 40%. Don't know, private, Google. Xiaomi too big. Kind of weird though. Like I don't understand why Minimax didn't pump. Are Sharps tweeting about Minimax right now? That was what I would have thought. That was the first thing that came to my head was long Minimax. And it didn't happen. Yeah, here you go. Nice tweet. Minimax is a perfect example on how you can be fucking good on a thesis, open source AI models. You front ran it, you get the best catalyst possible during weekend, and the price barely moves. Meanwhile, your direct competitor has a 50% gap up. Zephyr. Well, your thesis was never good and had a huge hole in it. You never tested these models and checked the performance. ZPU Knowledge Atlas has consistently produced great coding models. That's not the case with Minimax. They've underperformed. M3 underperformance is a major narrative loss. Meanwhile, GLM is seeing larger adoption with every new release. They're also expanding margins. They adopted DSA for GLM5, which reduced their inference cost by a lot, but they didn't reduce API prices. GLM 5.2 latest release is a top 5 coding model globally available at a very low price. There you go. Top 5 coding model, cheap company, open source, gaining all the narrative. Finally, you get the catalyst. Huge special situations, and you just pop 40%. There you go. There you fucking go. Yeah. There you go. There you go. There you go. What's the company called again? Zipu. There you go. That's unbelievable trade. If anyone took this, GG. There's a fucking special situations binker every couple days, it feels. Is it? Wait. No. Here. No. Here. I need an IBKR account. Here. 2513. There you go. And we have this. 198 on SpaceX. All right, I'm not done. I want to keep it streaming. I want to keep streaming. Also, not to be that guy, but I nailed the Tau cell. I think I sold this screen right here. It felt weak. I don't want to be done on stream. I want to keep streaming. Let me get up one more time real quick. My fucking voice hurts. Drank too much this weekend. Let me get up real quick and fill my water up. I wish I knew about these Chinese models better. We could have fucking binked that. Okay, what I really want to watch is, since we might as well just get really educated on the topic while we're here. The code report just dropped. Let's get like max covered on Anthropic, so we don't have to cover it.
Over the weekend.
Get the groundwork done. Let's just do it. It's one of my favorite YouTube accounts.
Over the weekend,
I don't care if private equity bought him. Is my favorite.
Crazy happened. Just 3 days after the release of Claude Fable, the US government stepped in and curb stomped it in the name of national security. And that's bad news if you just FOMO subscribe to Claude Pro to try out Fable, because now you'll see this disappointing message if you try to use it, and instead be forced to use the negative IQ Opus 4.8. But it's all for your own good, because it only took someone a few hours to jailbreak Fable and turn it into an unstoppable cyber weapon. And that's pretty ironic, because here in the land of the free, an American company that will not stop talking about AI safety just got safetied by its own government. In today's video, we'll find out how and why our dear leaders in government are keeping us safe from the horrors of linear algebra. It is June 15th, 2026, and you're watching the Code Report. About 2 months ago, on April 7th, we were first introduced to Mythos 5, the raw, unmuzzled model with the strongest cybersecurity capabilities of anything out there. But it was locked behind a program called Glasswing, only available to trusted partners, like major corporations and the US government itself. The reason Mythos can't be given to normies, though, is because it could easily be used as a cyber weapon in the wrong hands. To prevent that, Anthropic created a different product called Fable 5, which is literally the same exact model, but with safety classifiers bolted bolted on. That means if you ask it to do bad things, like create an NPM package that turns the banking system into a Minecraft server, Fable's guardrails will reroute your request to Opus 4.8 for a dumber, more wholesome response.
They don't
So
fucking tell you
basically,
they're doing
Mythos
it.
and Fable have the same brain, but Fable has a child lock on it. Fable went public and gained hundreds of millions of users overnight, and it was awesome. It was by far the best coding AI model I've ever used, and people were building all sorts of crazy apps with it. Life was good for about 3 days. Then, of course, an anonymous internet user who goes by Pliny the Liberator defeats the guardrails and jailbreaks it.
Oh,
He's
I missed this. I fully missed this.
basically the internet's let's see if I can penetrate this thing guy, and is famous for breaking other AI systems. And on June 10th, he posted a jailbreak on X claiming he popped Fable's guardrails wide open and got it producing exactly the same stuff the child lock was built to block. And that's despite the fact that Anthropic had spent thousands of hours red teaming and trying to break its own guardrails internally. But the jailbreak wasn't some kind of sci-fi exploit.
They should probably hire that guy.
It actually works a lot more like money laundering. Fable has a safety classifier watching for bad requests, but you can break dirty requests down into smaller, innocent-looking fragments by wrapping them in weird Unicode characters, by doing roleplay farming, or by confusing the model in a very large context conversation. Due to national security, I can't be any more specific than that, but this weakness was brought to Anthropic's attention, and they were initially asked to take the model down, but they refused. Then on Friday at 5:21 p.m. Eastern Time, Anthropic gets a letter, not from a customer, but from the United States government. This letter was an export control directive signed off by Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, and the order was that no foreign national may
Bro, what the fuck does Howard Lutnick know about LLMs?
access Fable 5 or Mythos 5. Not abroad, not in the US, and not even Anthropic's own foreign-born employees are allowed to touch.
Like, why is it Howard Lutnick? I don't know. I don't know. We want Zuck.
That last one is pretty crazy. The government told a company that some of its own staff are no longer allowed to use the product they built. That means guys like Andrei Karpathy, who just recently got the job at Anthropic, can't even use Fable. In response to that directive, they decided to hit the big red button and yanked Fable and Mythos for everybody. Now everybody's been quietly demoted back to Opus 4.8. And this is the first time in history a major AI company has pulled a live public model off the shelf because the federal government said so. Many developers out there are not too happy with Anthropic right now, because on top of this whole situation, there was already backlash over reports that Anthropic was intentionally degrading Mythos and Fable performance on certain AI research jobs without making it obvious to users. But others out there are speculating that this whole thing was a calculated publicity stunt to continue pumping up Anthropic's pre-IPO numbers while simultaneously building a regulatory moat around it. But I think the only thing that can truly stop Anthropic at this point is a better model from a competitor. A leaked benchmark shows that Mistral might have that model, but we're also awaiting.
All right, we got the gist. Actually seeing this video, I feel like we covered it very well. I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm going to give myself some credit on that and say that we covered it very well. We also already covered SpaceX in full, but I did see this, which they're really starting to push this narrative. SpaceX president and COO says a Tesla SpaceX merger might make Elon's life a little bit easier. I don't exactly know why or where. I don't know where this was said, but it does bring me to the question that I have this chart marked out on my computer that says pit short entry on Tesla. And it was green today. Is anyone still short Tesla? It looks pretty scary here, I'm not going to lie. Money printer is down a little bit, not much. Let's see. Money printer is down 4%. Pit is up 4%. And SpaceX is the greatest company of all time, it appears. I mean, I don't know. What do you do from here? I will say this. One of the things we said before the IPO is that if it goes up, it doesn't go up enough, it's going to be really bad for the upcoming IPOs. It's going to feel like there's not enough liquidity in the market. It's really going to feel like there's not enough money to pump these things. But after it rips a 20% day on its second trading day, you can start to dream a little bit about what's going to happen with Anthropic and OpenAI, I think. If Anthropic makes it, by the way. If Anthropic makes it that far, you could dream a little bit. Kind of cool they made money. No, this is not cool that they made money, Jack. This is bad. This is bad. Wow, his chat pulled 56K in profit. This is bad. $10%. Respect. Respect. Bad, though. Very bad. They did not buy SpaceX. No, they did not buy SpaceX. All right, last thing that I'm seeing a lot of smart people parade around is here, starting with this. I really want to get Eric on the stream. Equity issuance is exploding. We've basically completely exited the regime of buybacks, and we are now very much in the dilution regime. And in the era of stock scarcity as IPO fever hits, so far 160 companies have announced IPOs, including some of the big dogs, with plans to raise over $120 billion, exceeding the combined total from previous 2 years, which should add $1.5 trillion of stock to the U.S. equity market. Good big take today. And so net equity issuance is soaring up only. I definitely can't help but feel it feels a little bit like token launches soaring up only in 2024 on-chain days. Now, comparing Cerebro to OpenAI feels a little bit unfair, but this is definitely something to watch. Basically nobody is doing any buybacks, and everyone is issuing. And so there was this NVIDIA is raising $20 billion from bond sale. Everyone's just grabbing whatever capital there is sitting left on the table and stuffing it in their pockets. It does feel like the Google dilution shot a gun in the air and told people, it started like a prisoner's dilemma race, I think, a little bit. Definitely shot a gun in the air on the starting line. I forget this last tweet is. Yeah. Patrick Boyle had a good video on it. Let's see. I don't know who that is. How SpaceX humiliated Wall Street. I'll watch this later.
Yesterday morning, the largest company.
I will definitely watch this later. But look, as it stands, my only positions in SpaceX, it's like, I don't know, 20, maybe a little less, 15% of my perps book. And it's trading incredible. I don't know how long it will go on for. And it's the market cap is super inflated. But I mean, the floating market cap of SpaceX right now is like $100 billion. It's nothing. And I'm pretty proud of how we traded it. The week, like last Monday, I had zero plan. Tuesday, I had no plan. Wednesday, I had sort of a plan. By Thursday with Good Alexander, by Wednesday with Good Alexander, it felt like it was go time. By Thursday, we sort of committed that we were going to trade it, and I entered it. And then Friday was the IPO, and it had a pretty, I mean, really had nothing but clean PA. It had nothing but clean PA. And it had, I mean, it pulled back a little bit, but it closed the day at like 167 or something. I think that was my entry, 167. And then over the weekend, you get the ending of the war. And last night, I was thinking about closing it just because I was bored. Honestly, I was going to close it because I was bored. They just didn't change. It was 170. I was thinking about closing it because I was bored. And then Elon makes a pretty seminal tweet, I think, and says he's projecting. I'll pull the tweet back up. I deleted it on accident. This is going to be a pretty important tweet, I think, no matter how SpaceX plays out. He tweets, I think SpaceX might be able to reach approximately 1 trillion revenue 2030. And so the greatest security salesman of all time is on the Twitter timeline with price targets again, projecting a 50x revenue growth in like 3.5 years. And the market takes him seriously, man. The guy who built full self-driving cars, the market takes him seriously. The market takes him seriously. And I read this last night and I was like, dude, there hasn't been a single unlock. Nobody has any equity. 4% of shares are on the market. It's like $90 billion floating. Everyone knows FTV is a meme. Us in crypto are uniquely positioned to trade the low float, high FTV. And the greatest bull poster of all time is ripping out targets again. And so who fucking cares where it comes from? Who cares if they get there in 3.5 years? I do not think I'll be holding SpaceX by 2030. But you know I love a special situations trade. And we got handed a pretty cool one. So I didn't take the Rocket Lab short, which would have been fun. I didn't take the ASTS short. I didn't take the space short, but I did take the SpaceX long. And this has been a pretty fun one so far. So I'm up like 50, 60%. I don't know how long I'm going to hold it, but I am increasingly impressed with our ability to navigate the stock market, as most of us here, at least myself, am fairly new to it. And this has been a binker so far. So market's exciting. Things are fucking hot. We have a sea of green. We have war over at least for 60 days. We have the World Cup going on. We are maybe entering another era of American excellence and glory. We have UFC at the White House. We have, I don't know, New York Knicks winning the NBA title. And tomorrow we have options for SpaceX, which is fucking scary, and maybe a reason to sell. So on that news, we're going to have a big week, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have a very, very, very big week. I think we're just going to do solo the whole week. I have a lot to say. I have a lot I want to talk about. And we have a lot to get into. So I am fucking running the stream. Also, FOMC, Kevin Warsh is first. I'm going to start stream early tomorrow. I'm going to do it. I'm going to start stream early tomorrow. I'm going to start at an hour early. We're going to try the new time. We're going to see how it goes. And I will see you on the next one. I will catch you when I catch you. I'll see you when I see you. Have a great rest of your day. Love you, motherfuckers. Peace.